Baroness Fox of Buckley.
My Lords, I might as well start off by saying that as Baroness Fox of Buckley in North Wales, and with actually close family and friends who work in the area of domestic abuse, there's some kind of tying up that we can bring together in my last contribution to this committee stage. All of these amendments in this section, apart from the Welsh one, are about discussing preventative measures that focus on children, it seems to me. And although I'm not a fan of the cycle of abuse theories, which I think are too fatalistic and deny agency, I wanted to address the broad question of education as a solution and raise some reservations maybe before we get to report stage. Of course, I'm not in any way opposed to the sort of resources and specialised service provision that Baroness Meach has suggested, but I'm more concerned about the way that sex and relationship education, or just education in general, is used as the solution is in education. I think that can be problematic. Indeed, the noble Baroness, the Minister, earlier today, I mean, goodness knows when, and she probably won't remember because it's been a long day, but just made the point, but it sums up what a lot of people have been saying, I think, that what we need to do is to teach pupils what healthy relationships look like. And I thought, well, good luck with that. I mean, I don't know if the government know the secret of healthy relationships or if they have a blueprint for success. If so, I hope they'll share it. But in all seriously, I don't know how appropriate it is for the state to suggest, let alone teach, that there's an agreed right way of how to conduct one's intimate, personal, or private lives. And I think it might be asking too much of teachers, and I declare my interest here as a former teacher, that, you know, practically every single social problem has been outsourced to schools at some time or another, with the schools will solve it, and in some instances, queuing curriculum priorities. But when it comes to relationship, there's a real problem, because if you're teaching maths or physics, you might have the right answers. Even I, as a former English teacher, would say that teaching the moral complexity of Shakespeare's tragedy would be a doddle in comparison with teaching what a good relationship is. There just isn't a right or wrong way to do it. I think that we have to be careful, I suppose, that we tread the line between socialisation and a kind of even coercive kind of social engineering. And I always worry when adults talk about the need to go and talk to children about how they should behave, because they're always easier to win an argument with and manipulate young minds than winning them with adults. So that makes me nervous as well. But just because this sort of is the end of this section, and I think some of the issues that this raises are worth reflecting on for the whole bill, I think of the perils of the way we view relationships, or what is a healthy relationships. I mean, I don't know about you, but other people's relationships for me are always a bit of a mystery. I know couples who spend, as far as I can see, all their time squabbling and arguing and fighting, sometimes even shouting. And to an outsider, that might look like an unhealthy relationship. But actually, I know that they are families full of love, and it's just the way that they express themselves. There are some religiously conservative couples that I know who have adopted a traditional approach to relationships in terms of gender. Maybe a wife who's financially dependent on the husband, who has adopted a subservient demeanour or very modest, and perhaps the man is the man about the house and strikes a certain macho pose. And on the surface, according to some of what we've heard here over the time of the committee, those relationships might look problematic, even be signs to spot abuse. And yet, actually, in reality, these are consenting relationships between religiously conservative people, but they are healthy and they are happy. So I'm just making the point that whilst these might not be my chosen type of relationships, it's not my business, and it shouldn't be the state's either. And conversely, I know couples who have open relationships where both or either partner is promiscuous, and it's definitely not my thing, but in a free society, that's up to them. My point is that every relationship has its own dynamic, and those dynamics are negotiated by participants involved, and it's their choice. So then let's think about teaching children. If we teach pupils that those versions of the various distortions that I've given you of relationships are toxic, that their macho dad might mean he's abusive, that their modest, subversive mum is a victim, or that their divorcing parents who are forever fighting are likely to be signs of abuse, I think we risk alienating children from their parents. And possibly, I think that if we took a different way of doing it and said, well, no, the teaching model shouldn't be to say those relationships are wrong, but rather to describe unhealthy relationships with graphic images of violence and horrifying narratives of abuse, some of which we've heard here during this committee stage, well, then I worry we'll feed the young with a diet of alarmist scaremongering that will put them off intimacy and relationships which in most instances are the wonder of life, full of love and so on. And when Lord Olson very powerfully talked of the dangers of filling young minds with ugly visions when he was referring to pornography, I also don't want us to corrupt young minds by telling them that relationships are so damaging that you have to be scared all the time. In other words, the whole area feels like a moral minefield. And I think that we have to be careful when we're asking schools to be involved in this or saying education will solve it, that we're potentially fueling battles between parents and the state about which family values should be imparted, what model relationships should look like, and so on. And we have to really question whether that's what we want to come from this bill. My appeal to anyone, anywhere in the world who is watching, however, who might be worried about the well-being of children and are worried about them coping with the stresses of family life, is that I think that we should demand that the government open up the schools as soon as possible, because that would really help. And thank you for your patience.